Good evening. I'd like to open the meeting of June 24th for the Oxford School Committee. We'll go right into our recommended actions. Approval of minutes from June 10th. Any corrections? Mrs. Ravelli?
Just one correction on the vote for the high school.
Where are you looking?
2 of 4. On the third paragraph, 3 affirmative, 1 no, 1 absent. It should read. Page 2 of 4.
Yeah. And which number?
The
was it?
approval of the high school improvement plans. Motion carries. It
Oh, I'm
says 3
sorry.
affirmative,
Okay.
1 abstain, so I said 3
Yeah.
affirmative, 1 no
Okay.
vote, and 1 absent.
Okay.
And other than that,
Thanks, Jess.
looks good.
All right, very good. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve
Thank
with the
you.
corrections.
Yeah.
Second the motion.
Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
4 affirmative, 1 absent. Please mark for the record that Mr. Coonan will be absent this evening. Thank you. I'm going to hold June 10th executive session. And I will now turn the floor to our superintendent in regard to the kindergarten policy.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ennis.
You're welcome.
I have included in your packets this evening a draft policy based upon the parameters that the committee had set forth on our previous discussions. And it is certainly a draft for the committee's edification.
Any comments from the committee? Mrs. Ravelli?
Although I'm not sure that it really needs to be in the policy, but I'm wondering who will be doing the assessments, and what assessments will be used. If that plan is in place, since we're looking that we could actually implement this year, if we receive something that says here, reckon it for August 31st. No, not August 31st. What is the date?
No later than August 1st.
August 1st. So if we're going to be allowing that for this school year, do we have a plan in place? I guess is my question.
Through the chair to Mrs. Ravelli, this draft policy was left without details such as what types of assessments and who would be doing them, because we did not have the opportunity to meet with everybody to get all of that in place. Simply that this is the policy. We would probably not be able to do everything if there were anyone to apply over the summer.
So are we in any position to accept this as policy, or should we hold off for, what are your feelings?
Well, it's certainly the committee's purview as to if you want to accept the policy, make any adjustments to the draft. I believe that even if we don't have an opportunity to do a formal assessment, that we would be able to discern if we had the space, if a
Right,
child was
right.
appropriate.
Right, not to exceed 24 students. And Mr. Yvonne, as you and I discussed, Mr. Yvonne would be the final, or would you be the final?
Principal would be the final.
Okay,
Principal.
okay, all right, okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to at least accept this draft, and then as the superintendent, Mr. Yvonne, make further clarifications for it. So I know we have parents that are interested in what's going to happen with this, so I hate to hold them off. Go ahead.
Again, I don't have an issue with the policy at all. I was just wondering if we have plans, if we're going to allow this for this school year coming up. We should, if we're going to say, yes, we will accept, or we may accept based on this information, then we should at least have a plan as to how we're going to do that.
For the assessments?
Correct.
Okay.
Knowing that it is, school year is out at this point. So I have no concern with the policy itself, and again,
Okay.
I don't believe that, who or what assessments needs to be in here, because those will change over,
Right.
over the
Well,
years.
That's right, yeah.
And maybe just to give you a little more information that may ease your, I know where you're going. The plan would be certainly for Director of Student Services, building principal, with input from school psychologists and preschool staff to come up with the proper assessments that would help us determine and help the building principal determine if a child is ready. And that would be a piece of the entire draft, along with questionnaire, letters, and observation if necessary.
All right, I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the kindergarten entrance policy as it is written and to waive a second reading.
So move.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Thank you. Hold on just a sec. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4 affirmative, 1 absent. Thank you. And you can continue on, Mr. Himmelberger, with the A and V policy.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ennis. As you can see, I've attached the current policy as well as the proposed physical restraint policy, which basically just updates to the current mass regulations. It clarifies the procedures and the process, and updates the safety and reporting requirements, and has a universal reporting mechanism, which makes everything up to date. Again, I think it's important to note that I believe there are 3 places within where it says that requirements contained in 603 CMR 46, which speaks to the Code of Mass Regs that governs the use of physical restraints within a school, does not preclude a teacher, employee, or agent of the Oxford Public Schools from using reasonable force to protect students, other persons, or themselves. So that is in the Code of Mass Regulations throughout. And so I thought that that was important to highlight, because I do believe that this is a very well-written and current policy.
Okay. Any questions from the committee? Mrs. Ravelli?
Just the form that's used to record. I think it says here universal form, so all schools will be using this,
Yes, throughout
correct?
the district, yes.
And then where are they maintaining these?
They would be maintained within the building, and if necessary, a copy to the superintendent's office.
If necessary? Code of Regulations, I don't believe, says it is necessary.
No, but if it's certainly an escalated restraint, then, and certainly over 20 minutes, then it comes to me.
Okay. So, and that kind of leads into my next question. So my next question was, how many before this does have to be sent on? How many incidents do we have before
Well,
either
it's
yourself
not-
or?
It's not so much the number of incidents, and I believe we only had 1 that would even come close to qualifying this year in all of our schools. It would really be the length, the duration, and what type of force had to be applied. If it was simply a physical redirect on the
Right.
shoulder, far different than
Mhm.
having to take someone down to the floor,
Mhm.
which I would get that report.
Okay.
Can you just explain something to me, just so I have the information for myself? If someone is in need of physical restraint that actually needs to be taken down to the floor, how quickly does someone that's trained with that get to that altercation or whatever.
Right.
You know, how quickly
Yep.
is the,
I wish I could give you a standard response that we would be able to meet every time, but I can't.
okay,
Every situation is different. In most cases, the trained personnel are already on the scene because of the escalation. But it is very difficult to predict, certainly in some of the older students. But, you know, we have had incidences where we've been able to respond and contain in the 4 years that I've been here as superintendent. And to be able to have someone stationed at every door, in every corridor throughout the day to be available for this is just not practical.
yeah,
But I think it's more important to have staff that recognizes the behaviors and understands the triggers and is able to have the appropriate staff available.
okay, all right.
We had one case where it was a middle school student who was about ready to explode, and a teacher who you would not think would be the teacher that would be able to do this de-escalated the student very quickly by being able to redirect his thoughts. So it is something that is an ongoing part of being aware and being ready to respond.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Mrs. Ravelli?
How many, on the same vein, how many staff members do you have trained at each school?
Project Coffee has 4. High school has 4. Middle school has 3. Clara Barton has 3. Chafee has 10. And that's who is trained and recertified. We are offering the training again, probably as we get closer to the school year, when we can get the appropriate trainers on staff, on site, and offer that to others as well.
So that training hasn't been scheduled yet?
Not yet, no.
Just okayed it on their contract.
Hmm?
We just worked it on their contract. Okay, anything else? Do I have a motion to approve the A and B policy?
So moved.
Thank you,
Second?
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
4 affirmative, 1 absent. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now moving on to new business, always our favorite topic. The 2013 fiscal year budget update. And then you can continue right on with fiscal year 2014. Mr. Matthew.
It's funny, the reports will merge from one into the other just as the fiscal years do.
That's
June
good.
30th is not much different than July 1st, except we start with a brand-new budget on that day, which is always nice. As the committee has been aware, fiscal 13 has been a, I don't know if anybody watched Skywalk last night or whatever they called the walk over the Grand Canyon, but I felt like that for a good part of the year this year. I really have.
At least the wind didn't blow you over.
No, and the shoes weren't too slippery.
Did you feel like you're running those last few steps into 2014?
I've got to tell you, putting the numbers together and seeing, $15 million come down to 11,000 is,
That's breathtaking.
it's scary, actually. It's scary because as much as you plan and as much as you anticipate and as much as you do, sometimes there are uncontrollable expenses. And, luckily, they didn't exceed our capacity to cover. And I do have to thank the entire staff of the district for, understanding where we were, being cooperative, understanding that, there were some things that might be a no-brainer to approve on May 1st that I just didn't feel comfortable, even if it was for a couple $100s, to make sure that we finished in a positive for the budget. But that's the way we're projecting. Inside of my memo are some explanations on some of the function codes that have gone over budget. For the most part, they are salary lines in the overall sense, covered to a degree in contingency in the function code 1410. But, there are some things that, we can do a little bit better on, I think, in the future, electricity being one of them specifically, to try to continue to cut down our KWH usage. It's an area that, one year you concentrate on, the next year you let your foot off the gas a little bit, and it creeps back up. So, I know the message gets out there, it's just a matter of, getting it out there on a continual basis and really trying to find those tools to help us. I know there are power strips now that shut off when the computer shuts off, so it means the monitor and the printer shut off. I don't know that I want to invest $100 to do that, but when the price point becomes right, it'll be a good investment for the district.
Are we seeing any of the benefits from relighting this building yet?
Yeah, the KWH usage of the first year in the high school went down dramatically. This past year, it's crept up, much as the analogy I was just saying, but it's still below where we were in
Is
the
it?
past, yeah.
Okay, good, that's
So
great.
it's been a good investment. We've paid that off now, so we're in the clear after the 2 years of financing with Mass Electric there.
Any more relighting of our buildings in the
It's
future?
something that we can take a look at. Ngrid has got new programs out. Now that we have this one behind us, I think it would be appropriate time to take a look at the elementary schools. The middle school, I think, was done 2 or 3 years
Well, I think
prior
3.
to my getting here, so I think that's still relatively new technology.
Great, thank you.
All right. I do ask the committee to, as the numbers sit right now with the projected salaries that we still have to pay out on our last fiscal 13 payroll, it does look like we'll be over budget in salary by 75, 73, and with a slight balance in the expenses to cover that, plus give the 11,695 balance. I would ask the committee vote to transfer that money if needed, and I can detail the transfer from the specific accounts if it indeed becomes needed once we finish the
If you
the
could
final
give
year
that to
closeout.
us.
I'll give that to you if I have to do it.
Only if you have
Yeah,
to. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Okay.
All right.
But I would ask that you give me the authority
Sure,
to make that
okay.
transfer, as the committee has done in the past, and transfers to be able to close out the year. I'm happy to go over any of the individual function codes that have gone over, but I think the memo kind of spells out the groupings, the logical groupings of the few. And I think the important thing there is the IT revolving account. If we can, build that up, it'll help offset some of the, rather large capital expenses that we have projected for the upcoming years and our technology initiative.
Okay. So we're not going to give any money back to the town?
It doesn't project that way at this point in time.
That's a good
We can
thing.
always spend what we have allocated plus a little bit more.
Yep, okay. Any questions for Mr. Matthew?
I'm all set.
No. I think I'm good.
You good? Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion that we give Mr. Matthew the authority to transfer, if necessary, $7,573 to cover salaries. And along with that motion, Mr. Matthew will let us know where he is taking the money from for the transfer.
So move.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker. Do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 4 affirmative, 1 absent. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Moving on to fiscal 14. I did have the detailed budget printout in everybody's packet. It should be hole punched and ready to be inserted into your budget books. We've detailed the changes that have occurred to the budget, even as of this meeting today on June 24th, we don't have final budget numbers from the state. We do have a final allocated budget, obviously, from town meeting that we have met. Again, at the last meeting, we did detail the changes to the budget that we had to make in order to get down to the 15.3. In addition, I did list a couple of the offsets that we do include in our budgeting process here for the committee. As we evolve in our communication and budget presentations, you'll start seeing different levels of detail, and this is one of them where I want to detail all of our offsets, not just these large major ones. But it is important to note that, we do, utilize close to $500,000 each year from federal grant money for special education expenses. We do utilize close to $400,000 in our own revenues for local districts placing their children into our school district to take advantage of our SPED programs. And circuit breaker, which is the state reimbursement for special education expenses, is anticipated around $275 for the upcoming year. All of those dollars are factored into our budget, so, that's, especially the tuition in, because that is our own program, is, one area that we do help to contribute to make sure that we have appropriate resources available. That $400,000 would not be easily replaced nor easily cut from the budget.
Any questions? Any idea when we'll hear from the State House?
I haven't heard much talk about conference committees or anything along those lines. It doesn't mean it's not happening. I just,
Yeah.
it hasn't been out there.
Mr. Himmelberger?
I have the pleasure of visiting the State House on Thursday to testify for the Joint Education Committee, so if I can pick up any information, I'll let you know.
That's great. That's very exciting. It's nice to hear. It is. I think it's very exciting.
I would ask that the committee vote to open the FY14 budget at the next meeting, whether it's in July or August. I'll bring forward the function codes and the
Okay.
salary and expense, and you can vote on the budget control at that point in time,
Okay,
whichever.
that's great. Thank you,
Depending on
Rich.
which one you want to do.
All right, very good. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Any questions for Mr. Matthew? Okay, very good. We'll move along.
If I may, I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry.
If you could vote to just open the budget, the FY14 budget.
You want to do that now?
Yeah, again, no budget controls necessarily, but just so that we can, get the budget into the budget sense, into
Okay.
the GEMS program.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to open the budget for fiscal year 2014.
So move.
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4 affirmative, 1 absent. Thank you. All right, we're off and running, so to speak. All right, next, I did get a letter from, well, a card, a thank you card, from Lynn Stevens. I'm sorry, I forgot it. It's on my counter at my home. Sorry about that. But it was a very nice card thanking us for the recognition and the present that she received, and she also states how much she will miss the Oxford Public Schools, so it was very nice, and I will bring it next time. That's all I have for correspondence. The subcommittees, we need to continue to work on, and we're going to add a couple. Future of Oxford Education is going to be the resident parent forum. We have probably 20 or so interested. I would say that number could fluctuate and go up probably another, I'm going to say about 6 to 10 people. So we're looking at probably around a subcommittee of about 30. I would, after some conversation I had with Mr. Kuchar at MASC and explaining how this could go, he was fine with more, a quorum of the committee being part of this education group, and we would just post the meetings. But as he said, during these meetings, we shouldn't do any voting. We should just sit as a committee if we have 3 or more members. So that's something that we will we'll take care of as time goes on. The next committee will be the Wellness Committee. The next is Policy Committee. Mrs. Ravelli has let me know that she's very interested in being on this committee, and I have let her know that she will be on the committee. We will continue also with the Anti-Bullying Committee. We have a project that will be be opening up the new school year. The negotiation committee, Mr. Coonan would like to continue on that with me. I would like to have a building maintenance committee. We had it in the past. And it was a very good committee. We had, I would say probably about 4 or so custodians, two Board of Selectmen members sat on it. It was more just to kind of go through building by building, and then when it comes time to, say it's time for some of these things to be updated, replaced, we have a good argument to give the town. And also, Mr. Himmelberger, I know I didn't get to talk to you about this yet, but I am interested, and this will be for discussion when we have a meeting. I'm looking for us to possibly have a finance committee made up of school committee members, staff, parents, so that when we are in the midst of our budget process, they also are able to give their input of how we spend our money. I think it's important. We want to do this, future of Oxford education. We need people to, I think a lot from my discussion with different families, people don't understand some of the things that go on at town meeting. They don't know what a levy limit is. They don't understand how a municipal budget works. Like, a municipal budget is unlike any kind of budget, because if we have money left over, we have to give it back. And we have to spend what we have. It's a very different cycle. We actually vote a budget before we know what we're going to have in the budget. A lot of this is backwards in many ways. So I would like to put together a finance committee of a few, I would say no more than 6, 8 in there. A couple of teachers, if you could put the word out, an administrator or 2. So anyone interested in any of these committees, please let me know. I know Pat Hokinson is still working on getting members for her wellness committee, and I think she has secured a few from what she has told me, so that's good. So right now we have Future of Oxford Education, Wellness Committee, Pat Hokinson and her group, Policy Committee, Mrs. Ravelli, Anti-Bullying Committee, I will continue on, Negotiation Committee, Mr. Coonan and myself, Maintenance Committee is open, and a Finance Committee. So if you have any interest in any of these, please email me and we will get them up and rolling so that we're ready to kick them off at the start of school. And that's all I have there. Ben is off for the summer, and now Mr. Himmelberger.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ennis. I just have a couple of brief items that we needed to discuss. One is that we need the formal approval from the school committee for our school physician. And for the last 4 or 5 years, we have used South County Pediatrics through UMass Medical and Dr. Angela Beeler. And the fee of $7,500, which is well-priced, has not changed in the 5 years. And that's the proposed contract agreement for next year. It's August 1st through July 31st. And I would need the committee's approval for that doctor and contract.
Entertain a motion to approve the school physician.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, 4 affirmative, 1 absent.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And the second item I wanted to just bring to the attention of the committee, next year's calendar with tentative dates for meetings. Certainly, it's the committee's meeting calendar to adjust as they see fit. I just took a first pass at it today because this was our last meeting of the year, so to speak. And so what I had done was look at next year's calendar and tried to bring the notes forward that may influence, as we get into the year, placement of meeting dates. Typically, school committee meetings are the 2nd and 4th Monday. And also July is usually a pretty slow month because there's not much need for meetings, certainly to transact business. And so I had simply proposed, instead of the 12th of August, the 5th, which somewhat shortens the break between today and the end of August, the 4th Monday being August 26th, which is when our new staff reports. And then in September, the calendar works September 9th and the 23rd. Because of Columbus Day, we typically only have that one meeting in October. And November is problematic depending upon where Veterans Day falls. And so here again, the 4th Monday is the 25th, which is the week of Thanksgiving this year, because Thanksgiving is later on the 28th. So one option might be to look at the 18th of November as the November meeting, keeping it out of the Thanksgiving week, and then again shortening the gap between. Then December the 9th works. The 23rd, we are on school vacation that week, and it's also a couple of days before Christmas. But in the rest of the year, once we turn the calendar, the dates fall pretty static. Second and fourth Monday all the way through, we seem to dodge the vacation weeks. And then we get to May, and the 12th is the meeting prior to Memorial Day and before the elections. And then I put in 6/2 and 6/9 because that seemed to work well this year. And I think I have Mrs. Ravelli to thank for that, to stretch out what is a blockbuster meeting into two, a little more manageable. And then the last meeting of the year being next June 23rd.
Okay.
So that was just one man's pass, and certainly I just wanted to bring it to the committee's attention.
Sure.
For ratification, if you do want to approve it, that would be great. We can certainly make adjustments as we get into the calendar, but that was the information that the best information I had as I went through.
Okay. If there's any impact on anyone for the first meeting for vacation, 8/5 or 8/26, just let me know. I'm going to hold this and take a look at it a little bit closer, and also pass it to Mr. Coonan so that he can give his input, make sure that these dates work for him, since he's got some changes in his job. So we want to make sure that we have a quorum as much as possible. But thank you very much.
Yeah,
That, so
no
far, I mean, on the surface, it looks
Glad
good.
to do it,
Thank you.
and that is all I have.
Okay, very good, thank you.
I do have a need for executive session.
Yes, yep,
For strategy for non-union
right.
employees.
Mr. Matthew, anything else?
Well, briefly, the Wellness Committee did meet through the year, and we will bring forward a wellness policy to the school committee at its first August meeting or next meeting.
That's when you want to be
that's
on?
scheduled, yeah.
Okay.
And the committee, I did send an email to the committee last week on the FREC bids. They were available in the office for review. The committee normally approves those. The FREC bids are where we get the majority of our educational materials in the classroom, crayons, copy paper, those sorts of things. All of the information is available. It's, it's procured with a number of other communities. It's been a practice for a number of years, and it's, a very solid process. I think the committee historically has approved those bids, so we would like to have that happen if that's what's
Sure.
happened in the past.
Sure. That's it.
That's all.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Ravelli?
I don't have anything this
Toledo.
evening.
Fabulous.
Isn't that fabulous?
Fabulous.
Fabulous.
Mrs. Walker?
I don't have any requests, but I have been challenged by our vice chairman. She wants me to carry the banner for some particular project.
Challenged.
Well, that's good to hear, I think, right? Do you want to tell us how what she's challenging
I
you?
didn't think it was a challenge. I was just inquisitive and asking. That's all.
Well, share. No?
Share.
Sure, Mrs. Walker.
She wanted me to commit myself.
Well, you've committed yourself.
And I was a little reluctant to do that at
Yes.
this point in time, but I can understand her reasons to encourage a sister on the board. But I have been connected in the very distant past with a community service 4-H group of teenagers, which I'm very, very proud. They excelled to the national level and attended without cost by sponsored organizations to attend the Chicago Congress without fee. They worked very hard in the town. That was when we decorated the trash buckets with the guidance of one of the ladies from the Women's Club, and they said, had the word beauty in it, beauty bug. And we hadn't had trash barrels around the town up until that time. So they came to my house and we painted buckets, 50-gallon drums. And they realized that they're very awkward and heavy to handle, so they compromised by finding strong liners for them all, and they appeared around town. But that was just the beginning, and then it went on week after week, and they have a lot of energy in the high school years. And we managed to channel that energy into self-help and personal development projects. And so they all grew to be very fine people. In fact, one of them is our town moderator.
Oh, okay.
So I understand what could be involved, and it's a little bit frightening at the age of 85.
Yeah, but I could tell you, you're probably the youngest 85-year-old I've ever met. So I don't know if that will spur you on.
I appreciate all the encouragement that I will be receiving, but I'm hoping to take the challenge that my teammate here offered as far as encouraging seniors to take educational classes. And I had asked for that many years ago, and we used the old high school building, and a lot of us learned a lot of instructive personal development. We didn't do dancing in those days. We did sewing
Yeah.
and a lot of other things.
So you have a few options now. And
Well, we
Mrs.
would-
Ennis this evening gave you several more options.
Oh, yeah, and we would definitely like you to reach out to some of the seniors in regard to the Future of Oxford Education Subcommittee, because their input is so valuable, for what they can offer us. I think our Golden residents, some of them in this town, are extraordinary, some of them that I've met, so we would like you to do that also.
Okay,
Oh, it's on camera. She said okay.
It's on camera, that's right, you said okay.
Yeah, you said okay. There's the commitment.
That was easy.
Yeah, you're next.
I like my seat over here.
Yeah, it's okay, you're next.
Anything else, Mrs. Walker?
oh, I think that's quite enough.
Okay, thank you very much. Mrs. Gaucher?
I have nothing to add tonight, thank you.
Okay, thanks. The only thing that I'm going to add is I would like us to send a letter of congratulations to Emily DeWitzik, who once again has put Oxford on the map in a big way, national title now. So she's state champ, national title for her hurdles, 100-meter hurdles. I think she deserves some serious congratulations from the Oxford Public Schools and this town. She's put us on the map, and I know that she's excited to go to Sacred Heart, and she's looking forward to her future as a nurse, but she is a stellar athlete and an outstanding student academically. So I'd like to have entertain a motion to send that letter with all of our signatures, and congratulations to Emily.
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 4 affirmative, 1 absent. And that's all I have this evening. Let's see. I now will entertain a motion to go into executive session under Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21, subsection 2, conducting strategy for preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel. Mrs. Ravelli, could I have a motion?
Oh, motion, yes, motion to,
And a second?
Second?
Thank you. Mrs. Ravelli?
yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Gauscher?
Yes.
And I vote yes. We are now in executive session. And we will adjourn to adjourn. We won't come out. We'll just adjourn. Thank you very much, Tony.